Goofy Luffy. You got to sit up here because you had to unplug mine from right here. Whoa.
I don't think it'll reach.
Yeah, scoot the desk a little bit closer then. Pull that one out. Scoot the desk closer. I don't have it. You're good. I don't have it. You can throw it away, sweetheart. All right, Scott, nobody's in the back. You know that, love bug. I love you, but nobody's in the back. You guys will both need this paper on the front desk. You'll need Desmos or a calculator. Either one is fine. Desmos or a calculator. Either one is fine. Okay, here's what's going to happen the next 3-ish weeks. We got 4 weeks left, and that's it. So 3 more Mondays left. We are going to kind of talk about topics that you're going to need for geometry. I'm going to drop a bombshell on you.
No more diamonds.
No, you're going to use that.
So this is a good one.
So my teaching assignment has changed. I am no longer teaching Algebra 1. I am now teaching geometry.
Well, I guess I'm coming back.
So some of you might have me again. There's a good chance, I don't know, there's a good chance that some of you in first and fourth level will definitely have me again. Now, if you absolutely hate me, sucks to suck, sorry. But you'll be stuck with me again because I am not teaching Algebra 1 at all next year. I don't know. I'm trying to not, have you noticed the boxes in the back? Trying to not be. I'm trying to go upstairs to the 3rd floor because that's where all the geometry teachers are for the most part. Except for
She wants to be close to me.
I also want to be close to her, but if I don't get to move, then she's moving next door. And I'm already discussing this later in my meeting.
I'm sure you are.
So sorry if you don't like me, then I'll try not to get you. But if you do,
I will.
So you'll see me with all my geometry stuff everywhere, but it'll be weird not teaching Algebra 1 because you know what? I'm really sad because you know who I don't get to work with. Huh? And Miss May. Well, I might get to still work with Miss May. We're still working on that. All right, so we're gonna do 1-step and 2-step equations, and that's what we're gonna do all week. Okay, we're gonna do 1 step today. We're gonna have a little bit of practice. Tomorrow you're gonna practice. Wednesday I'm gonna do 2-step equations, and then you're gonna start an escape room on Wednesday. Do escape room Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday you're gonna have a quiz. That's what's pretty much gonna look like. Teach a little bit, quiz. Teach a little bit, quiz. The last week, some of the other teachers are gonna be telling me something different. I think I'm gonna have a little bit of fun. So we'll see what it kind of depends on how much I can get done in those next couple weeks. We ready? All right, here we go. An equation is 2 expressions. Does anybody remember what the difference between an equation and an expression is? An equation has one thing, an expression does not. What does an equation always have? An equal sign. An expression does not. Okay, an equation is 2 expressions set equal to each other. Set equal to each other. Now, is this an equation? Yeah. So we're going to label the coefficient, the constant, and the variable. The easiest one, I think, is the variable. Which one's my variable? X. That's my variable. It's my variable. Okay, so I labeled that one. That one's good. My coefficient and my constant. Let's try for the coefficient next. Does anybody remember which one of these is my coefficient? The number in front of my variable is my coefficient. Don't be scared. It's my coefficient. The note's right up there, sweetheart. And then the number by itself, without a variable, is my constant. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Now, to solve a 1-step equation, We're going to isolate the variable with inverse or opposite operations. Now, if I put this sign down, what does that sign mean? Adding. What's the opposite of adding? Subtracting. Boom. Right? I undo one with the other, correct? Now, what about if I put this down? What symbol does that mean? Why didn't I put an X down?
Because X is confusing.
X is confusing because you couldn't think of X as my variable. So I'm going to use my dot, okay? What's the opposite of multiplication? Division. So most of you will think of that as your division sign. Those are my opposites, right? All right. We're going to do some examples, and then you're going to be able to start your practice. We ready to rock? Here we go. First one is number 1 right here. Which side of the equation is my X on? Is it on my left side or my right side? Left. So I need to get, is there anything attached to the X? So what I would have done originally is I would have covered up my X. Is there anything outside of my X? No. Is there anything touching my X? Is there anything attached to my X? Let's put it that way. Is there anything attached to my X? That fraction, right? This fraction, because this is like, it says X divided by 3, right? A fraction is division, right? If I want to undo division, what do I have to do? You have to multiply. So I'm going to have to multiply both sides by what? 3. So I multiply both sides by 3. So write that down, then look up here for me, please. What happens with these 3's on the left side? They cancel. So what comes down? X. What else comes down? What else comes down before that? The equal sign. If somebody said, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. And what do I do with these two? You multiply them. What do you have open right now? You should either have a calculator or you should have Desmos. You're going to need them. Multiply those two for me. So what is 3 times 9? It is 27. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. All right, next one, number 2. Cover up the X. Is there anything on the outside, either adding or subtracting on that side? Subtracting. What's being subtracted? 1.3. I need to move it to the other side of the equation, right? What's the opposite of subtracting? You're going to add. So I'm going to add what to both sides? Good. I'm going to add 1.3 to both sides. Okay. Now on the left side, what happens with the X? Comes down. What happens with the 1.3s? They cancel. What happens with the equal sign? Bring it down. And what do I do now? Add them. So where should I add them? Into Desmos, for sure. Add them into Desmos, for sure. Yeah. What is it? It is 11.4. Okay. Now, number 3. If I cover up the X, is there anything added or subtracted on that side? No. Okay. Is there anything attached to the X currently? What's attached to the X? What? A 12. What operations between the 12 and the X? Multiplication. What's the opposite of multiplying?
Division.
Dividing. So I'm going to divide both sides by what? 12. Okay. What cancels? 12s cancel. What comes down? X. What else comes down? Okay, and then what do? I want you to divide it. And guys, I do not want a decimal. I want it as a fraction. I don't want a decimal. I want it as a fraction. So you're going to do -3 divided by 12. And it gives you it as a decimal, right? How do I change something into a fraction in Desmos? Yes, how do I do that?
Like on the side, you know where the blue thing is?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's actually a fraction thing that it shows you. You click on that, and what I got was -1/4.
Yep, you hit that little fraction button on the left, And you get -1/4. Okay? What do you not like about number 4?
There's a 7 and
There's a 7.5, right? You guys hate those. I don't blame you. Now, right now, does it matter if I change something to a decimal? Does anybody know what 7.5 looks like a decimal? 7.5, right? So I'm going to rewrite this equation. So it says x plus 7.5 equals 5. Okay. Cover up the x. Boom. What's on the same side as my finger still? 7.5. I need to move it. So what do I need to do with it? I need to subtract 7.5 from both sides. Okay. What happens with the x? Comes down. What happens with the 7.5?
you cross them out.
They cancel.
Then you add them, right? Or divide.
Bring the equal sign down. What operation am I doing with the 5 and the 7.5?
You subtract.
I'm subtracting them. Again, I want that as a fraction. So you're going to do 5 minus 7.5. Put it in decimals, but then I want you to change it to a fraction. So 5 minus 7.5 and change it to a fraction. Did you get this? -5/2? Yep. Okay. Last one we're going to do. Cover up the x. Boom. What's on the same side as my finger? The -8, right? It's just -8. How do I move the -8 to the other side? You're going to add 8 to both sides. What happens with the 8s? They cancel. What happens with the x? Bring it down. What else comes down? Equal sign. Then what am I going to do? You add them. And again, guess what I'm going to want? I'm going to want it as a fraction. I'm going to want it as a fraction. (12.25 plus 8). Turn it to a fraction. Did you get this? 81/4. Don't be freaked out. As long as you put your numbers in decimals correctly, you're completely fine. Don't be freaked out about big numbers on decimals. It's totally fine. Okay, that's all.